Radio Cayman,
the voice,
the heart, the soul of the Cayman Islands.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. It's another terrific Tuesday's edition of Talk Today as we invite you to be a part of it, especially a chance for you to be part of a hospitality recruitment open day that is happening. Guess when? Well, it's just right around the corner. Stay tuned and we'll tell you more about it.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow,
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us in the studio, Mr. Ken Rankin, together with Ms. Unique Christian. Hey, thank you both for sharing with us. And again, as we get into the discussion, when prospective employers have an opportunity that they can invite prospective employees and to do it in the format in which you have engaged, as an open house, but as a public call, as it were, for all on Sunday, like for almost every conceivable opening that's possible within the hospitality sector. I commend you for the initiative as we set the stage for a discussion. Good afternoon, welcome, and thanks. Share with us.
Well, Dwayne, it's good to be back here again. We were here last time with the One Love Music Festival with my friend Sean Smith, but this time around we're moving on to the hospitality industry. I don't know if you know, but we in the last 2 years we have obtained and we've purchased a few businesses in Cayman. On the flip side, before all this happened, I've been in the hospitality industry doing entertainment for 20 years and doing promotions at all the bars and restaurants in Cayman. So the last 2 years, we've started to acquire some of these properties and businesses. So with that and with the anticipation of the borders opening and the lack of labor that we have and we're looking to fill potentially 40 to 50 positions that's coming up in all ranges, as you may know, in the hospitality industry. Now, talking about that, I have here our HR manager, Ms. Unique Christian, and it's so fortunate, very fortunate for me, Dwayne, I must say, because Unique was a rare find, and it was sort of by accident when I purchased Discount Excursions. They've closed down because of the pandemic and whatnot. Unique was one of their employees, and I wanted to meet her. And I have a certain way of doing things, and when she came in, very quiet, as you'll see and you've heard, and the ability for her to work across the cross section from customer service to HR to accounting. And she did well with talking with me and understanding what I was trying to achieve. And she's worked with us for the past year. She's recently a new mother. So again,
awesome, huh?
Back to work. But yes, so all the challenges and some of the opportunities that we have, we're working through. But again, Cayman has a labor problem. I love the fact that the Ministry of Tourism and the government is having the initiative at Cayman's first, and that's coming from the top down. So we will do our part to tool and train and hire qualified Caymanians in what we are. And, you know, you could talk to Unique a little bit about that. She's heard what I stated, what I have stated to her, and what I'm looking for to at least be 60 plus K minus. Now, if we don't meet that, fine, but we are looking for that. And it's right within her because she's been in the industry for 7 years?
7 years.
7 years. So we could talk a little bit about her journey and where she's at with the company and then what we're looking for. I think that'll kind of spell it out too on who we are.
Well, Ms. Unique, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, so I have been working with Discount Excursions prior to the COVID lockdown for about 7 years. I was managing the company. After that time frame, Mr. Kenny then took over the company, as he said, due to the circumstances. And we've been working together for probably over a year now. And we've just been working on a few different projects, trying to enhance our tourist experience in all different aspects. And so we are, like he said, we're recruiting Caymanians and persons who have the rights to work for different.
So with that, it's called the group limiter, so in the hospitality recruitment. So are you looking for, well, first off, like which companies and then what sort of positions are we looking for?
So we're looking for, so like he said, Discount Excursions. We have All Stars, which is it's like a
sports
bar,
pool, darts, entertainment. So
and then 7 Mile Lounge.
7 Mile Lounge is the club area. Then we have Beach Living, which is a short-term rental establishment. And we have, of course, we bought into and we manage Coral Beach as well. So all these positions need to be filled as the borders reopen. So anywhere from cooks to barbacks to HR assistants, accounts, office administrators, entertainment coordinator, beach attendants. It's a whole slew of positions we're looking for. It's up on our Facebook page. It's been shared. And tomorrow at All Stars at 1 o'clock upstairs. It's, if you don't know where All Stars is, it's Queens Court Plaza where the old attic was. It's been since we took over, we renamed it, and we've done a slew of things. But we'll be interviewing and processing candidates that want to come in. And if you're not familiar with the industry, we'll sit and talk to you. We'll tell you what the tools you need, what you need to know about the job in the different areas. Also, as Unique would know, in the past, if you have the ability we've taken on trainees, we've taken on a few this week as well to get them up to par, so we're able to move on with our business, right? If we could find people in the industry, it just makes it a whole lot better for us. And I could tell you, as someone that went out quite a bit back in my younger days, you remember Scooby down by Royal Palms? Scooby, there was Mitch, and then there was Kennedy. Like, when you go out now on anywhere on the 7 Mile Strip, you hardly see any Caymanians working at all. Why is that? Okay, back in the day, Holiday Inn and whatnot, you found, and people would come to see these people. People want to hear about Cayman. People want to know about our culture and whatnot. So, I guess in our own way, we're bringing a little bit of that back to the island. We have the ability to do so. We promote that, and we look at both sides of the fence. So,
all right. So for tomorrow, you say 1 to 4, they come. What are you asking of prospective employees, the applicants? What do they do when they come? What do they bring? How do they come? What are you asking of them?
So when they come in, we'll just have a very detailed setup where they can view the job descriptions, see what the job entails, the salary, everything like that. And pretty much it's just I would say probably a 10-15 minute interview just to get a feel for the applicants. And then we would then review, reassess, and reach out to them according to,
And they could ask questions about the particular positions and what's there. So, the staff members will be there. I'll be there. Unique will be there. Other members of staff that work in industry will be there. So they'll be able to present. You have to bring your resume if you can. Yes. If not, you could email it. Bring a photo ID. We'll register you. And like Unique said, interview process will be within 15 minutes. But again, too, if they want to ask questions about the positions, about what we offer, we'll be able to answer all those questions there for them.
All right. As you shared, very timely. A lot of people potentially may have considered the hospitality sector in the past. They may have been working elsewhere. Now, as we, transition, this might be the appropriate time for them to really take that step. But there are those who are in the sector not as gainfully employed as they were. Here's an opportunity for them. So when we come back from the break, maybe share with us some more and remind us, of tomorrow and invite people to come on.
Sure.
Mr. Kenny Rankin, together with HR coordinator Ms. Unique Christian, will join us. The Group Limited having a hospitality recruitment open day tomorrow, 1 to 4, upstairs Queens Court Plaza in the All-Star Sports Bar and Grill. So we'll tell you more about that. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Ready, set, go! Enjoy the latest and greatest sports events live on SportsMax. With every Digicel Prime bundle, get dedicated data for your SportsMax app so you can catch all the live action and more right at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Get your 30-day Digicel Prime Bundle Plus for only $55 and start watching, because catching gold is better on a bundle. Digicel, better together.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
King Sports Center takes pride in being more than just an ordinary gymnasium. For 14 years, their multi-purpose facility has been providing the community with a variety of sporting, recreational, and relaxation activities. King Sports Center has a bowling alley, lounge bar, multi-purpose rooms, powerhouse gym, rock climbing wall, bungee jumping, a 10,000 square foot rink, and so much more. For more information on the variety of services, call their friendly staff today at 946-5464 or email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. King Sports Center, your one-stop shop for fitness, recreation, and relaxation.
This is an important public service announcement. In accordance with the Standards in Public Life Act, annual declarations of interest must be submitted between the 1st of July and 30th of July 2021 for members of Parliament, various categories of public officials, and members of governing bodies of statutory authorities, government companies, and commissions created under the Constitution. A new online portal for submissions is being launched on the 1st of July 2021 for easier and secure submission and processing of forms. For more information or to determine if you are required under the Act to file a declaration, visit standardsinpubliclifecommission.ky.
The story of the new NOCO, Friday at 12:15 on Radio Cayman CI Retro Talk Today. The new NOCO, a modern Cayman Island ship of its era, departed Cayman July the 4th, 1936, 85 years ago, with 22 people on board, 14 passengers, and a crew of 8, never to be seen or heard from again. The New Noka Story, 12:15 p.m. Friday on Radio Cayman. Brought to you by
Thompson Shipping, a name synonymous with cargo and goods to and from the Cayman Islands. Let Thompson Shipping take care of your shipping needs. Thompson Shipping, 949-8044.
The New Noka Story, Friday, 12:15 on Radio Cayman.
Join the Group Limited for a hospitality recruitment open day at All Star Sports Bar and Grill, located upstairs in Queens Court Plaza on Wednesday, July 28th from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. They are recruiting Caymanians and residents with rights to work for multiple food and beverage locations in the following positions: HR assistant, accounts assistant, office administrator, bartender, server, dishwasher, barback, food runner, restaurant host, supervisor, events and entertainment coordinator, guest concierge, line cook, commercial and residential cleaner, beach attendant, maintenance assistant, groundkeeper, and security guard. Full job descriptions will be available on the day. Please bring a copy of your resume and a photo ID. For further information, contact hr@thegroupltd.com.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us. And so we spent a few minutes more with Kenneth Rankin and his Unique Christian to tell you about hospitality recruitment open day taking place tomorrow, part of the Group Limited. It is hopefully, for us an opportune time to look at where we are in our personal lives, where we are in sort of the development and advancement and progression of our country, and to see the hospitality is almost by nature, us. Hopefully, more of us would be able to avail ourselves of opportunities to see, what is truly the reward, not just the financial reward of being ambassadors and interacting, but sometimes the things that you learn, the friendships that you form, we can probably think back to, people that we know today that we have known for decades. And for some of them, they knew our parents. So the generational connection is part because of the hospitality. So tomorrow, Kenny, you say 1 to 4 at the All Stars Sports Bar upstairs, Queen's Court. Recruitment affair. So prospective applicants, just come along.
Yeah. You could email your resume from today, hr@thegroupltd.com. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, upstairs, Queens Court Plaza, All Stars from 1 to 4. Unique, myself, and others will be there. If you have questions, come and talk to us. Trainees, if you have an interest and you're not qualified, that's something you can come talk to me about. We've taken trainees on over the past year, just again a few this week. So if you have an interest, you have the dedication, you have the focus, the time, come see us.
Without putting words, I want to make sure I completely understand.
Sure.
This is open for all the Sunday who are either Caymanian or residents with the right to work. As it
Correct.
were. So their immigration status or whatever we use in Cayman allows them to be gainfully employed.
Correct.
This is also for the seasoned person who may want to move from one sector to the next, or for
even
that
part-time.
person. Exactly.
Even part-time.
Right?
Yeah.
Or that person who's in the sector, but you know what? I wouldn't mind checking this out.
Yeah.
But it's also open to that. We're graduating children from university, from high school, who may say, I wouldn't mind getting into the sector. So is there an minimum age that you're looking for?
18.
18 and over, right?
But Dwayne, look at all the positions, right? HR assistant, accounts assistant, office administrator, bartender, server, dishwasher, food runner, restaurant host, team leader, F&B supervisor, line cook, entertainment, and events coordinator. I love that one. I'll probably apply for that myself.
I'll be your assistant.
Guest concierge, commercial cleaner, beach attendant, maintenance, groundkeeper, security guard.
It's everything.
Yeah. So, that's everything that we need, that we hire. It's 40 plus people within the next 2 to 3 months that we will need to take on.
Across different businesses you referenced earlier.
Yeah, we have multiple businesses doing. There's a few here, but it's a total like 7 or 8 businesses that we have that's coming online in the hospitality industry. And that's from the Paramount Group side. That's a big area we're getting into. So we've been in the business for 20 years, but now we're being part of the business, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I sometimes, you're just person at the table eating the food. Now you're in the kitchen, helping to prepare it.
Yeah, and I don't have to tell you too. Just recently, we closed Rankin's Jerk Center for 2 months, and part of what we're doing as well, we're recruiting staff to fulfill the needs up there. We're rebranding and coming back out with a new menu and new employees and new service. There's times to regroup and come back, and that's what we're looking for doing. So all this is purpose built for us to come back out stronger, better, and again serving. We're looking to serve the public. Looking forward to serving the public.
All right. So at the end of July, thereabouts now, people come in tomorrow. Prospective employer, as you've put out, that employee who may be looking for something, they suit what you're looking for. They have all of the skill sets and aptitude. How soon could a prospective employee expect to start? December, September?
I would say
the next
end
day?
of September.
Yeah.
Some we have, and the training aspect. This is the beauty of what we do, right? The training aspect that we have, and the ability to do part-time. So we will do shift. So where we open it up, where people could get in and get trained and do shift work with us, but the majority of the work will be the end of September for us.
Right. So that's literally just
2
right
months.
around the corner.
2 months.
So the perfect time for people to even. We all have to put little things in play, get ourselves in order.
Yeah.
So we're looking at almost immediate employment to that prospective applicant who satisfies your criteria.
And what has happened with us as well, we work with all their establishments. So if we know they do call us at times. So if we have good applicants that we haven't filled and we're fully staffed, the group is the agency as well, that actually that company works for a company, and we could actually send out your resume to other people that are asking. We work with all the F&B companies in the industry as well. So.
All right. Well, there you go. You're covering them on a basis that an employee may not be, the time and the fit for the position for your entity, but could be, introduced to another one.
Yeah.
From that, Ms. Unique, when we're looking at the sector, and there are a lot of demands. The skill set is one of someone with a great personality, but also the aptitude. Tomorrow, you're asking only the resume, if they have it. If not, email it. Bring a photo ID, and that's basically a short 15-minute interview, thereabouts.
Yes, that's correct.
I'll come down. Sorry, Miss Thomas. You said part-time. No, but I want people to be serious about it. And think about it, because that extra opportunity now for that person who may be looking at moving from where they are to somewhere else could be a good way, but that person who is looking, as well.
Yeah.
All right.
And again, when we say part-time, part-time could really be full-time as well, because if you had time on your hands and you worked a day job, right, when we operate from 7 to 12, 2 at night at times. So it may be 3 shifts a week you do that. So we're open for that.
Yeah, you could take home not only some extra cash that we all could use from time to time, but who knows what that would do in terms of fulfilling your life.
I don't know if the perception that the hospitality industry, if the people don't make money, they make good money doing. In season, they make very good money.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a good living. You get to meet a lot of people.
Yeah.
You get to make good money. It takes a lot from you, because it's hospitality, right? You have to be courteous. You have to be engaging. You have to do your part as well. But at times too, if it lends itself the ability for you to move on and move away, if you wanted to travel and get a job elsewhere and you had the experience, you can do that.
Yeah.
You look at my father, right? He was a cook on a ship back in the day when he started out, and he got to see the world by just being a cook on the ship, right? And that's why he came back to Cayman, and he started his business by the experience and what he's learned. And again, coming back to the restaurant business and Rankin's Jerk, and something that we're doing with the reopening. Just give you a hint here, in his name, and I thought about it, we're going to be opening Biggie's Barbecue. Right, so again, that's something that he loved, and that's something that we have worked with him hand in hand from the time we were kids, and that's something we're going to continue. So yes,
but that's the way. Not only that legacy, but ensuring that connection can transcend generations and position us for something. Just like you referenced earlier, it is without question a challenge within a small space, with a limited population that we have, for enough Caymanians to be in all the jobs.
Mhm.
But for those who want and who committed, here's an opportunity. It may just be the right fit for them.
Yes.
You won't asking them to show up. You've got it between 1 and 4 p.m. Some of us may be already at work. Perhaps there's just enough time for out for lunch.
Yeah.
You won't asking for a few minutes of their time. Make the
Mhm.
commitment.
If they can make it, email us and
Mhm.
we'll set up a time for them.
Okay.
It's going to be open. This is just a drive, but we'll be open for just email the resume to us and we'll set up an appointment to
All right. So
meet with
the
you.
only sort of once you're understandably 18 or over.
Yes. Yes.
That's it. All right. And most of us are. I mean, I'm almost 18, so I'll be 18 by tomorrow. I think. We'll see. Let me check my driver's license. Upstairs in the Queen's Court Plaza, All Star.
Correct.
All right.
1 to 4.
What else would you want to share with us in closing, Ms. Unique, to that prospective applicant, for those out there who are, maybe just feeling, it just is that invitation to join?
And I would just say, come on out, hear what we have to offer, hear what the jobs entails, give it a try, because again, like you said, we have to take advantage of the opportunities. We keep saying, that there's no jobs out there. Well, here's the opportunity.
Yeah.
Come on, bring your ID, your resume, be prepared, and
see firsthand for yourself, right?
Yeah.
And I appreciate what you shared. Maybe you reminded. There is unfortunately that perception. Hopefully not as much now as it was way back when, that people working in hospitality don't make any money.
Mhm.
We knew that banks dismissed the gratuities, and that was for many Caymanians one of the reasons why they didn't get into that, because end of the month, the bank only looked at their salary. There was enough to qualify for a loan. Hopefully that's changing for them to get their house. But there's money to be made. Like anything, you put in the work, right?
Yeah.
So your final invitation and sort of appeal for people to come out tomorrow?
Again, thank you so much, Dwayne, for having us, and Ray and the Radio Cayman crew. But listen, there's an industry, I've been in it for 20-something years. I'm drawn to the industry for a reason. I don't know why, but it draws me out. I love doing entertainment. I love the hospitality industry. I'm not good at certain things, but what I do, we do well at. So I'm inviting for anyone that thinks that they have what it takes. If they want to learn, come out. Come out tomorrow, 1 to 4. If you have questions, if you're just curious, if you have any thing that you would like to know, email us. We'll get back to you within 24 hours. And we're open. You were talking about information a while ago, Dwayne. Mr. Unique could tell you this. This is why, again, I look at trainees and whatnot. I like sharing my experiences and what I can. We have, to tell you this, Dwayne, real quick, we have 2 sets of groups of individuals that are into events and entertainment coordinators, and we have assisted them by giving them the venues, help them with the venues, help them with the marketing, help them with what they need to put together because they have an interest. They're full-time jobs, but the entertainment business is what they're getting into. And I think it's 2 sets of 4 people that we've helped. They're doing well, and you'll see that they'll continue to grow with us, and that's what we have seen, and it helps us as well, our business, to see Caymanian business entrepreneurs coming out of the woodworks and giving them the opportunity and the tools for them to be successful.
Indeed. I think Ms. Susan said we have one caller online. Ms. Susan, if you have a few seconds, let's hear what this caller has to share. Kenny Rankin and Unique Christian joins us. Hey, good afternoon, welcome, thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Sterling Green, and good afternoon, Kenny.
Good afternoon, man. How are you?
Great, and the young lady there.
Afternoon, man. Welcome, man. Thanks for sharing with us.
Thank you. Kenny, I just want to let you know that I can remember the day when your old man, or your father, let me say that, opened Rankin's Jerk Chicken in Bordentown. I seen him with his white apron on. I'll never forget it. And, I admire you all for sticking together as a family and continuing the business that he started.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
That's amazing, man. And that is... thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
And for that call to end on that note, that's what we're talking about. Yeah. Whether on building a brand or leaving a legacy, it's about the commitment to work together to understand that the hurdles are easier if we face them together.
Dwayne, let's bring in what the gentleman that said this now. If you go to Rankin's Jerk in Bordentown, And when you walk up the stairs, look on the right to the floor. You'll see a 10 by 20 patch of slab with tile on it. I remember that's when my father, he had a tent with 2 jerk pits. That's how he started. He looked forward to is a bigger slab, and then he built the building. You know, he loved cooking, huh? He loved cooking. I mean, my grandmother loved cooking too. My grandmother, I remember Miss Coriel, cooked us food every day of her life. And if we didn't go pick it up, she would call and ask what happened every day. So that is something that he's instilled in us. Now, I am more of the marketeer, and that's what you're going to see with what we do now with the reopening in the next month or so with the new Rankin's Jerk. But it's going to be a true farm to table as well as there, but we're going to enhance that as well. But again, I wanted something, and I told the board of directors, my brothers and sisters, I wanted something to carry on my father's legacy, and I wanted to have his name there, Biggie, right? Because that's what it was. And I always asked him and said, well, when can we do like a barbecue Saturday or something during the weekend? He says, well, whenever I have the time and I get to it, we could do it together. Yeah. Well, that didn't come. He passed on. I think it's 5 years now. So when we open in 2 months from now, in September, we'll have a section there for the weekends for barbecue on how his own traditional recipe, what he liked to do.
Well, looking forward to it, man. It's these things that build communities like that. Mr. Steve reminds us of the tamarind tree that were chopped down. There's too much that we're losing and not appreciating what it means for our legacy, our heritage, but for the generations to come. So commend you on this. Wish you continued success, Ms. Unique. Once we have people with a willing heart and a true sense of ethos and ethics and a spirit to give, we shall receive, right? Yeah. Hopefully tomorrow is a resounding success, and for the prospective applicants, so they come out and learn more and see where it takes them.
And remember, we need to keep in touch, huh?
We can do that one. I have my people call your people.
No, we
can do it.
Yeah.
All right, I appreciate it, man. Thank you very much, and thanks. It's a pleasure to meet you. You are indeed unique. All right, let's pause and take a break, and when we come back, well, Susan's going to share with us. Joel Wilson might even come in the studio. I doubt that. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045, and pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you. We are a non-for-profit member-centric plan with a democratically elected volunteer board of trustees representing all sectors of the Cayman Islands economy. Chamber Pension has an all-in expense ratio of 0.72% over 16,000 members, $430 million in assets under management. We were the first multi-employer pension plan approved by the regulator in the late 1990s. And today, we are still strong, secure, and are here for employees and employers alike. If you would like to join or request further information, visit chamberpension.ky. And for information as it happens, follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Email admin@pensions.ky or call 745-7630. The Cayman Islands Chamber of Commerce Pension Plan. We're here for you.
Celebrate Cayman is taking the Cayman Islands Seafarers Registry to local communities every Thursday from 4 to 7 p.m. until 5th August. Come out for a fun, family-friendly evening to learn about the Seafarers Registry, access complimentary health and wellness checks, share seafaring stories in the memory booth, enjoy seafaring-themed activities, socialize with seafarers, and more. The Celebrate Cayman Seafarers Registry Roadshow happening every Thursday from 4 to 7 p.m. until 5th August. Visit celebratecayman.ky for schedule and info.
The Cayman Islands Seafarers Registry, Celebrate Cayman, the Lions Club of Grand Cayman, and the Department of Children and Family Services will be visiting the Cayman Turtle Center on Thursday, the 29th of July.
2021, the year of the Cayman Islands seafarer or seafarers, the heart of the Cayman Islands maritime heritage, the modern Cayman Islands ship. The new Noka, on a voyage from Cayman to Tampa in July 1936 with 22 people on board, vanished without any substantive evidence of what was her fate. Tune in on Friday at 12:15 p.m. for CI Retro's Talk Today, the new Noka's story, being brought to you by MJS Plumbing. Whatever your plumbing needs are, call MJS at 916-4549. MJS Plumbing.
Dreaming of a great career or degree? The Caribbean Examinations Council offers regionally and internationally recognized qualifications to help you get there. These include the Caribbean Certificate of Secondary Level Competence, CCSLC, the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate, CSEC, the Caribbean Vocational Qualification, CVQ, Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination, CAPE, and the CXC Associate Degree. These exams may be done while in school or out of school at private learning institutions. Visit cxc.org to learn more. With CXC, you're in control.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Afternoon, welcome back, and thank you for joining us. It is Open Line here on Talk Today, and it will be for the remainder of today's show. So straight through, get a chance to hear directly from you. If you want, you can call and comment and complain. You can compliment, and you can critique. You can just share a perspective, ask a question, perhaps clarify something. Well, share with us as you wish. Sometimes you just need to have a place to ventilate our thoughts. Someplace, in that we might find that we can indeed be better because we have shared that thing which we thought was important. Maybe the thing that was gnawing at us, as it were. What our elders used to tell us, you got somebody stuck in your craw. Well, I'll do my best to listen, and if there's a way to offer up a helpful, healthy perspective, we'll try to do that as well. But the main thing is to know that you have a listener there, an attentive one that will try through a meaningful discourse, and we can get to some, hopefully, meaningful solutions. 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261, and share your thoughts with us. Normally on Thursdays, we engage into something. Wednesdays, we have something else. Well, since it's Tuesday, let's not advance too far into the future, but let's talk what we can. Let's go to the phones. Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for calling. Hello, good afternoon. Yes, hello.
Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. How are you, man? Apologies for that just then. How are you?
I'm all right.
All right.
A lot of rain in North Side today, and we enjoying the rain.
Well, that's good, man. The rain bring, many blessings.
And the Amalis enjoying the raise in salary.
Well, you know what?
The people are suffering.
I would almost want to joke and say, well, if they got a raise in salary, that means we can beg them for more. But I'm not going to say that, right?
Dwayne, I think we're waiting for the new government to go in the legislation assembly, vote to revise that decision. I will stress to talk about it every day until this government changes that decision.
let me ask, not to say that what you're sharing isn't valid or appropriate and so on, but let me ask two things. Why is that so important that they look at it? You think it's the insensitivity of the thing? Is it because the last government put it in play? Why is that important to you?
Number one, because we are in very hard time as a country now.
Mm-hmm.
We are in bad economy.
Mm-hmm.
People are suffering. This money could be, put toward raising the salary of the civil servant, or improving some public park or anything can change, or give it to Wheels and Meals. Let them feed some hungry people, because they are the number in raise in this country. I don't see any justification for this increase in salary for MLAs. I don't agree with it. And yes, I support this government, but there is one person in this government I don't support anymore, which is Kenneth Bryan. I don't support him. I will not support him anymore.
Why is that? Why is that?
There is reasons.
Okay.
I will explain when the time comes.
Okay.
But I want to tell you, I still support this government, but this decision is a big mistake, and this decision result gonna bring back the PPM government, and I don't want to see the PPM government again. As I was fighting in Northside, against who? I still fighting against PPM government, because they are worse for the people. They are not for the poor people. They are for the rich. The second issue, Dwayne, I want to speak about again, which is the public buses. Public buses, Dwayne, we have a problem. And all this country know we have a serious problem about public transportation. I am not saying, again, I will repeat this, it is no matter how many good drivers there is bad ones. 5, 6 bad drivers, they are making it worse for everybody. They go from Georgetown, they turn by Bodentown and go back to Georgetown.
But we know that's been an issue, right?
Every day they do that.
There
is buses from 1 year. 1 year, their route to East End and North Side, they never come this side. From 1 year, I challenge anyone, if I give the names of those drivers, they never reach East End from 1 year. And if you want, I give you names.
No, but I mean, it's sometimes I think names are important, and for some reason in our society for right now, we don't see as others are accustomed to what they talk about naming and shaming. But let those names be known to the authorities first that are responsible for being able to address it. And if not, then maybe there needs to be a public appeal. But in the absence of names, you're sharing that there are some actors on the stage that really aren't performing. So let's address that.
We complain to the Public Transport Authority many times. There is over 1,000 reports being filed by citizens in this country since this past 4 years. More than 1,000 reports. I can tell you, I've been told there is more than 1,000 reports, and against specific drivers. And those drivers still driving public bus. The laziness in this is that the director of public transport still sitting in that seat, and from years there is promises to review the issue of public transport, and
right.
There is
but if I can ask you, sorry, yeah, we got a news break to take, but when we can come back, we can chat more and hit out all this stuff.
Yeah, just I want to say this, Dwayne, last thing, and that's it. Who responsible about in his ministry about public transport, and he promised in your show, that's Kenneth Bryan, need to deliver his promise.
All right.
I don't want to see him in videos. I want to see him in action. I want to see him do something. Until today, zero.
All right. Well, I guess that's it. Let's pause and take a break. Hit the news. When we come back, who else is going to talk to us? I don't know. Stay tuned.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman.
Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Government reported the results of 737 COVID-19 tests on Friday. There were 4 positive test results in travelers. To date, 96,993 COVID-19 vaccinations have been given in total in the Cayman Islands. Turning to international news now, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention was expected to backpedal Tuesday on its masking guidelines and recommend that even vaccinated people wear masks indoors in parts of the U.S. where the coronavirus is surging, that according to a federal official. The official spoke on condition of anonymity because the person was not authorized to discuss details of the new policy. The CDC was expected to make an announcement later in the day. Police officers who fought back against Trump supporters at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th have given evidence about the violence and hatred they experienced. They were testifying at the first hearing of a congressional committee set up to investigate the attack. Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn, who is black, said he was taunted with a racial epithet by the mob. At least 535 rioters have been arrested so far, but prosecutors have only secured a few convictions. And Simone Biles' decision to withdraw from the women's team gymnastics final has yet again highlighted the extreme pressure the world's top athletes are under at Tokyo 2020. After stepping away from Tuesday's competition, the American said it was important that she protected her mental well-being and that athletes were people at the end of the day. Just hours before, Naomi Osaka herself suffered a shock defeat in the 3rd round of the women's tennis competition. She too said the pressure and expectation surrounding her performance contributed to her struggles. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman, 89.9 FM.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. And thank you very much for joining us as we invite you to be part of a discussion. You know, maybe we want to mix it up. Maybe we want to get as provocative or to stimulate as much discussion as we can. Well, go right ahead. It's open line 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255 or 925-3261 is our WhatsApp. Before I reference the last caller's comments, quick reminder for those who may be asking, the Hospitality Recruitment Open Day is taking place tomorrow. The email is HR at thegroupltd.com. It's tomorrow 1 to 4 in the All Star Sports Bar and Grill located in Queens Court Plaza. So if you have an interest in hospitality, well, check it out. Bring your resume and a photo ID and see what's available for you, full or part-time. So that's HR at thegroupltd.com. But the last caller, as a number of individuals have shared, they may not necessarily agree with everything he says or like the way he says it, but he's certainly insistent. And to his last comment, and I certainly want to apologize to him and share our appreciation, not just for him having the tenacity and being so willing to share a perspective, but to allow us to sort of maybe interrupt his conversation somewhat, even though it's towards the end of it, so we could take our break. But he said, the bus system needs to be addressed, and he's asking for accountability. And I think if I asked him a question, he probably would have, indirectly answered it anyway. Is the responsibility the lack of accountability or the level of autonomy that is afforded to individuals? But at the end of the day, who is responsible? Is it the department? Is it the head of the department, or is it all the way up the chain? And I think he has alluded to, well, if something falls on the, a political ministry, well, maybe that's where the direction comes from. Maybe that's where the authority rests. Maybe that's where we need to look for accountability. But it can't be, with the greatest respect, that we look at things from the personal perspective, or if we do, to let that be the only perspective. It's easy to get caught up in our personalities. We like something, we like someone, so we are forgiving or willing to overlook. But we don't like someone, and we're not even willing to give credit where credit is due. Probably easier to say than done. We become emotive, we are emotionally charged, and sometimes that dictates, how we respond or even fail to respond. Perhaps not as easy, but if you think of the boxer in the ring, or any professional, keeping calm, cool and collected, having a level head will help you to make better decisions. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, we get sort of caught up. If you look at boxing, Muhammad Ali would probably say, was the greatest of all. And in the ring, he probably could taunt his opponent, frustrate them, and you see them respond, and he can catch them off guard. Now, Mike Tyson, perhaps maybe on the other side, he gets frustrated and comes out brawling, as opposed to the professionalism of the skilled boxer of Muhammad Ali. Well, we all probably find ourselves at times being one or the other. Maybe in our approach, we can maintain not just a sense of sobriety and civility, but a sense of calm, a sense that we approach things as best as possible in a rational, reason, logical manner. Again, maybe easier said than done, and maybe what may trigger one of us, is a whole lot more than what may trigger others. And then when there's another circumstance, that person who's ordinarily, it we seem as cool, calm, and collected, level-headed, may just, fly off the handle because of that little thing. Well, maybe it is a little thing, but not to that person. So as best as we can, let's try to be, accommodating and understanding. Well, the invitation is there. Join us for our open line. Normally on Tuesdays, we have good friends from the Health Services Authority. But as you know, like many, the demands on our schedule and our time is great. Our schedules can become predictable at times. So when that happens, and on behalf of HSA, we're not going to have that normal discussion. But, tomorrow's another day, and prayerfully we'll be part of it, and so is next week. 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Here's a WhatsApp from one of our listeners that says, the public transport system will not be effective and efficient until it is truly public. Now, that sentiment expressed by this particular WhatsApp has been something that has been resonating across many sectors, in that some of us have probably taken for granted that we understand the system, know what it is. There's a licensing of private individuals, whether working in consort or whether independently. There's a published and established routes that are subscribed to, with expectation that there's a certain level of deportment, conduct, and people would operate the route. There's probably a belief that because it's licensed, there's a sense of monitoring and enforcement if people, infringe the protocols or somehow go against the license in terms of maybe not operating the route. We have been repeatedly told that there are many who use it on a regular basis who have allegedly complained to the requisite authority that there's a behavior either from the drivers and or other passengers that seem to offend what would be the expected norm, or at least go against the licensing protocols. There have also been allegations that some of the operators don't necessarily, go the route that they should go, or if on their route, they don't travel it completely. Presumably, allegations of speed and misbehavior amongst the drivers, all sorts of things. Again, with expectation that if complaints are warranted, they're made and investigated and some sanction is meted out. Now, in recent times, more and more people are starting to realize that the perception that we had that it was public transport isn't in fact what is shared by others who would have, in their minds, rightfully assumed that meant that there was some level of public/government involvement, as is the norm in many jurisdictions. The public transport being operated by the requisite government entity, the state, the county, whatever it is in whatever place it is, or somehow licensed to a provider or providers, or with that delegated sort of authority and understanding that they should conform to the license agreement. In the Cayman context, many have asked, well, in this instance, if something was to happen, where is the liability? Are people unknowingly, and ignorance of the law necessarily is not a defense, but would it be reasonable expectations that people would think, well, it's a public transport, so if something happens, they would bring proceedings against the government, and it is the government who is assuming liability if something was to happen. God forbid, an accident of sort, without fully understanding that many of us are of the view that it is a private sector entity operating this, either as an individual or otherwise, and so therefore the agreement is between the operator and the user. Now, what does that mean for us, and how, if anything, can we do to make it better and improve it? Well, let's ask that question, and when we return from this next break, if we want, in a sense, to look at our impact on our environment, to address the growing frustrations of many relative to the traffic congestion, to perhaps mitigate the need for governments to build not just new roads and wider roads and more roads and the like, but maybe for us to be a little more responsible relative to our carbon footprint and the pollution, but to make the movement of people in larger numbers more cost effective and efficient. Would you be willing to share your thoughts on how we can improve that level of public transport? Now, whether that's operated by government, by private sector, or some combination, or whether that is bigger buses, whether we, find a way to suspend from the sky, a rail system, or whether we construct a rail system, whether it's underground or above, whether we're using cable cars or monorails. What is it that you think, and how can we go about it to achieve that? Maybe we can use our collective input and wisdom to come up with some ideas. And maybe we are in a time in human history where authorities, the powers that be, the governments, are receptive to ideas. So maybe for the next few minutes, or even the remainder of the show, think about it. We can obviously discuss anything as you want, but there are growing frustrations. There are costs involved to the individual as well as to society. So let's see if we can put a collective heads together. Would you be willing to share with us how we can improve, the movement of people in larger numbers in a safe, efficient, cost-effective manner, so that we have a reliable means of transport as well as a reliable, safe mode of transport, right? So let's pause and take that break. When we come back, share your thoughts with us. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Although very similar to their Grand Cayman counterparts, organized religion in the sister islands was spearheaded by the work of Baptist ministers as opposed to Presbyterian missionaries who started the churches nearly 40 years after that in Grand Cayman. In May of 1885, Reverend J.H. Sobey, minister of the Second Baptist Church of Montego Bay, visited Cayman Brac at the invitation of the Brac seamen. During his visit, Reverend Sobey held the first service in a large house, and it was so overcrowded that the following day a tent had to be erected to have the service. In 1886, Reverend Sobey returned to Cayman Brac with Secretary of the Jamaica Baptist Missionary Society, Reverend E.J. Hewitt, in order to introduce Reverend H.W. Rutty as the Brac missionary worker. Congregations started at various settlements with the construction of 2 chapels in Stake Bay and the Creek. The progress would continue, and 6 months later, Reverend Rutty was ordained as a permanent missionary, and more congregations were formed in Westin, Sport Bay on the east end of the island, and South Harbour in Little Cayman. Reverend Rutty's son and grandson would go on to become Cayman Brac's collector and Chief Justice of the Peace.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette, brought to you by the Ministry of Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Eat, drink, and save money with BIP. Get the best deals across the islands exclusively with BIP. Introducing BIP Deals and Offers, home to the best money-saving coupons. And that's not all. Join the BIP Marketplace, the best place to buy and sell your items for free. Even better, win free lunch every Wednesday and stand a chance to win great prizes daily with BIP. Just download the free BIP app today and start BIPing.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. And thank you for joining us. It's open line 949-8037 or a flow toll-free call at 1-800-534-8255. 925-3261 is our WhatsApp. Let's go to our phones. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Hey, good to hear from you again today, man. How are you?
Man, I tell you, I would love to see that match between Muhammad Ali and who it was, Mike Tyson.
No, let's say that they were both in their prime and they were, on the same card. Who do you think would win?
Well, I couldn't tell you. I think it would be a draw.
The brawler against the boxer? No, man. Ali would school him, man.
Well, how about the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels?
Boy. You see, but the thing is, I appreciate you, bro, and I, picked up on that because it just shows you not just what charisma and charm can bring, but what people who have a true passion, a vision, right, and a respect, a sense of humility. Ali, all of his banter was, I think, gracious and respectful, but had amazing humility. I remember meeting him, and the man is just, he's a man. a good example of what humility can do.
That's right. But I always love to watch on the two of them though. Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker. I like how
That's another other sport though. I'm really much of a fanatic for that, but anyway. But see, it comes down to the skill, right? I mean, there's brawl and brawn, and there's brains and, a sense of not just putting on a good show for people, but if you go back to Tyson, for instance, maybe his biggest downfall was people like Don King exploiting a natural ability, a rage and aggression, without fully appreciating that at the end of the day, it's not just about, raping in a whole lot of money. It's about, bringing something to the fore that entertains, informs, engages, but also encourages people to excel. Fortunately, we have got to a space where only one thing that matters, right? And that's the amount of money that we can seem to rake in these days.
Yes, sir, that's true. That's right. They might say that it's fake, but I don't think so.
Well, see, the thing about much, right? If you take, as an example, probably the greatest sport, bar none, football, right? A sport that probably was designed to be all about the ball and the strategy and skill of moving the ball back and forth, right? Sort of like a moving game of chess or checkers with human players, right? To what has now become almost seemingly it's about, a play to the man as opposed to the ball, a game of, trying to bring not just harm and hurt, but shame and disgrace, to opponents, as opposed to a sport with exceptional skill and celebration amongst fans. Now, probably the English FA, from their fans to their football, probably some of the worst examples you'll ever see, but never ever properly exposed until, egregious acts that were transpired come to light. But places like Germany and Brazil that play a sport with higher skill, not always given the respect that it needs, because maybe it doesn't play to that same level of appeal.
That's right. And France is also very good too. That's a good team. I'm telling you. We can't forget about that.
There you go, man. There you go.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what's on your mind, man? How can we talk that helps you share with us your thoughts?
Well, I still always, as always, I love the progress. I love success. And it is what I wish for so many people. That is.
How do you measure? Well, let me now that you mention that, how do you measure progress?
Progress. Well. I wouldn't just look at it one way, because there are different interpreters. Different types of philosophers, but
and what about success?
Right, you can progress in a spiritual way. According to certain religious people, you can progress in that way. You can progress in a financial,
right.
that
so then, so then like schools then, whether it's the expectation of the teacher, the parent, or the administration, if we're on chapter 1 and then we get through to the end of the book and we finish in the last chapter, we would see that as progress, whether or not the child learned anything or remembered anything or could apply anything that was learned. But for some, that would be progress, because you move through it, you move forward. You think that's how we measure progress in many cases, or success? You got $1 in the bank today, but in the year you got $10. Is that how we think we only, solely, and probably primarily measure progress and success?
Oh no, in my opinion, I mean, sometimes we forget a lot of things, but you can according to evidence, you can be at an A level, and you can go above. You can attain what you probably thought you could never attain or achieve. It's the way we apply ourselves sometimes. The way we think. We get up. Maybe you're in a bad mood, or versus the good mood, and you're thrown off track, or you stick to that good mood. Everything goes fine. You achieve more. You have.
But do you think enough of us stop to think about what we're doing, what we should be doing if we're not doing it, and maybe the actions of doing it or of not doing it? Do you think we think enough about it?
You mean
or as people, as we get up in the morning, as you said, as we go through our days, are we thinking enough? And do we, if we're not, do we even feel that we have time to stop and think? We're just acting and responding. But do you think we're thinking?
Well, that quite a few people, sometimes we're not as swift as we need to be. We have other matters that we focus on. But we want to focus on our thoughts, or the other person wants to focus on the other person's experiences in life, their achievements, maybe trying to tear down someone or build up someone. But I believe in building.
Right.
You build even the person you mightn't like him, but you still try to build him up. Who knows what might happen?
But is that the challenge then? We're not doing that. Instead, we're begrudgeful. Instead of trying to celebrate with, or at least for, the other person as they succeed and achieve great things, or we're undermining, cutting, begrudgeful, resentful, jealous, petty. I mean, is that the problem?
Oh yes, that has been proven over and over and over. That negative sort of thought, that action of negativity. You have decided that instead of spreading the red carpet for the man who deserves it, you actually put oil on the ground so he can slip down.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yes,
unfortunately. So how do we change that? I mean, we don't. Even now that you're sharing some views, sadly, many will dismiss what we're saying because it is us who are saying it. Some will reflect and go, but even Westbury sometimes have a decent thought. Or some would say, I expect better from him. But why is it that we look at people like that and we're not willing to hold them up? That we're so, seemingly, not everybody thankfully, but some of us seem to be more willing to expend more time, energy, and money, use up greater resources to keep people down as opposed to trying to help them up.
I just don't, I sort of realize to some extent, which, there's more than one view, but the view that I'd like to share is that sometimes, that spiritual thing, that other belief where we just don't have the strength to help. We have the strength to, or at least we use our strength to slide tackle somebody instead of playing the game fair. You decide that you want to hit him in his ankle.
Yeah.
As some people would say, in his ankle is he just.
Yeah, man.
You know how that go from playing football years ago.
Yeah.
Some people don't play clean, and
but now they're getting rewarded for doing it.
Oh yeah,
All
but
right.
I think, yes, sir.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Listen, thank you. Any quick final thoughts you want to share?
Man, I just got to say, Mr. Sterling, I think they should call you Mr. No.
Huh?
That's say Mr. Platinum, Mr.
No, man, I'm just... But thank you, I appreciate that. But I'm just me, man. I'm just me. And I'm a me that's becoming a better me. And I'm a me that's starting to realized that as intolerant as I was for foolishness, I'm growing even more so now. Because I want us all, like you said, to be better, all right? Let's lift up each other, man. Let's spend more time helping one another than hindering, hurting, harming, and somehow keeping us down. And thank you for taking time to share your thoughts with us, man. Hold your head high, walk with a great sense of, positive energy, man. Move forward, bro.
Oh yeah,
all right.
I like to be like that fella, the great thinker. Is it the thinker or the thinker?
So be that thinker who thinks deeply, who loves generously, and who gives willingly. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Blessings to you, my friend. Blessings to you.
Okay, sir. Okay.
All right. Let's pause, take this break. Still want you to call and share your thoughts. And if you want to talk about public transport, well, we can. If you want to talk about how to improve society, you can. If you got a comment, a question, or query that you want to share, well, go right ahead, man. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Summer, the season for backyard gatherings, beach parties, office socials, and camps for kids. Make the most of your summer party and leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters or double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway Box to Go, with the option of a 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. Cater your summer with Subway. Visit Subway.ky for menu options. Subway. Eat fresh.
The HSA Specialist Clinic has relocated to a new, modern, state-of-the-art facility at Smith Road Center to offer you a better patient experience. Receive care from top specialists in chiropractic, complementary and alternative medicine, neurology, ENT, urology, pain management, and more. Our orthopedic and telemedicine clinics remain at the Cayman Islands Hospital campus. Please remember to bring your own face mask when visiting any HSA location. Visit our website, hsa.ky, to learn more. At the HSA, you matter to us.
Census 2021. Came on, get ready. Census starting 10th of October 2021. Census information is secret. Census 2021. Census starting October 10th. 2021. Census 2021. Census. 2021 Census. Everyone counts.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. And I hope if you've had a chance to take your lunch and you're enjoying it, well, it is not just nourishing and relaxing and refreshing. Maybe, as the caller shared, it was the wonderful sound of the rain beating down. Maybe it's just a little prelude to what is to come later. Maybe it was just for you a quick opportunity to catch your breath. We're all, for whatever reason, being pulled in many directions, and perhaps at times being asked to do competing things. Or we were told often that you can't serve more than one master. What's it, man and mammon? The idea at the end of the day is how many of us now feel that we have sufficient time to do as the last caller was asking. Can we think about what we're doing and not doing, and to think about what we can do to make it better? It is open line, and I'd like to hear your thoughts, your comments. It may be a question, it may be something constructive, it may be very critical, it can maybe just be something that you don't see necessarily how to say it in any positive way, but just say it. Share it so that others may realize that they're not alone in having a similar thought, or that they may, in fact, be able to offer up some semblance of help. Let's give you some options to call and share your thoughts with us. 949-8037. Or you can call Flo toll-free at 1-800-534-8255. Or WhatsApp 925-3261. Get your thoughts into the studio. And as I'm here, well, I'll lend a listening ear. Maybe even weigh in on a view as we go to our phones. Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Good afternoon, Brent. Billy Sinamba here. How are you today?
Very well, man. Good afternoon. It's good to hear from you always. How are you?
Well, good to call in to you and sort of keen as well to your viewers and so on. I'm fine. Thank you very much.
I'm glad to hear that. Yes, indeed.
Well, I thought I should chime in, considering, you have an open line and you want to discuss a lot of issues. So
right.
I thought I should discuss one of my favorite issues, which is the empowerment of people in Cayman in relation to legislation, and the need for them to have an opportunity to really influence policy and therefore influence what goes into the legislation and therefore what affects their lives in general. Now, some time back, I think when way back, I might have told you that after I came to Cayman, which is 2003, I found the system worked very well, like the system of proposing legislation and processing it and taking it to the LA. But after a while, I found out that one of the things that was lacking was the training of those non-lawyers in government, to train them how to put together a good piece of legislative proposals to put to the drafters, because that allows them not just to control the content, but also it facilitates the work of the drafter. Then they can produce more legislation, better quality, and so forth. What happened then? So I designed this little course. It's called the legislative process. Actually, its formal name is How to Make Effective Legislative Proposals. But in short, I call it the legislative process course. It was not a course that the last government, to be frank with you, wanted it. In fact, they fought it so hard. I don't want to go too much into detail of that. I ended up going to court trying to fight them to say, allow me to teach it. But in the end, I lost the case. But what I've done in the new with the new government, to give it just a little bit of an opportunity, I've actually written to the Premier as well as the Deputy Governor to say, look, I spent a lot of time to develop this as my contribution. Is it possible that I can teach it for you for nothing? In other words, you won't be charged for it. When I used to be associated with a local Caymanian company owned by actually a generational Caymanian, we taught it to planning, about 20-25 people there. We also taught it publicly at the Cayman Beach Suites. And then they had to pay for it. But this time I've said, well, look, let me just offer it for free. I can teach it for 3 days, teach a maximum of 45 people, and let them decide if they like it. So when I called OC, I mentioned the same thing, and I thought that this would be a very nice contribution. It's very, very empowering. It is done in the UK, in the US, and so forth. By the way, to be very frank with you, in the UK, if they put together a little team, like a team to draw up a bill, they call it a bill team. They ensure that each and every single member of that team does not begin work until they are trained on exactly how to work in such a team. In the Cayman Islands, we don't do that. And I think if we did that, considering that the system already works reasonably well, we can do very, very well to be able to produce legislation and to also empower people. So I'm hoping that the government will take that up. I know the chief officers were very much in favor of it, but something, I think, political happened, and then as a result they were overruled. But I think if they consider it again, I am available.
So if you were successful in getting that accepted, how would it be done? In a classroom setting? Would it be done virtually? How would you do it?
Okay, yes, that's a very good question. I prefer to do it in a classroom setting. To be able to, like the last one that we had with planning with 20-25 people, we had it in the government administration building, the big conference building there. The PowerPoint was there, the binders which I prepared, some of my own publications, related to Cayman and relating to other jurisdictions. It was all there, and all it needs to be done, government basically just needs to provide a room in which the training can be carried on out, the equipment, which is what they did last time, and they may have to pay just a small sum for like disbursements, like the cost of the binder, might be $50 or maybe a little less than that, So that's the way I would prefer to do it, because normally what we do is like when I did last time, we broke into discussion groups to do assignments and to make sure that everybody understands that. By the way, Dwayne, when you are doing a piece of legislation in Cayman, the steps, if you count the steps from step one, count step one as the time when you say, you are Dwayne, you decide I'm going to make a proposal to government regarding a certain matter. You talk to your chief officer agrees, and you do a cabinet paper. Count that step as step one. From that step up to the step when the law comes into effect, the steps are approximately 30 steps.
Wow.
Now, if I were to ask you to ask the chief officer, you name all the 30 steps, I don't believe there's one chief officer who can name them. It's not because they are not competent, it's because they've never been trained in that particular area. Some of those steps are not very important. They are more like internal to legislative drafting and the legislative assembly. About half of them are particularly important. So this is something that I think can be done. And I enjoy teaching, by the way. I'm in semi-retirement now. Right now, I teach Canadian lawyers online, actually, how to write legislation. There is a university called Athabasca University. It's based in Alberta in Canada. And I've been doing this for about 10 years now. Even when I used to work for government in Cayman, I used to teach it part-time because I did it in the evening, and it's mainly marking assignment and speaking online with the students and so forth. So it's something that I enjoy to do, and I hope that I can be able to do that with respect to Cayman, yeah.
If I can, I've looked at your book. I should probably pull it off my shelf and refresh it. But help me so that I got the terminology right, so that our listeners can be better informed. But there was a time when legislation was being drafted, we had decided that we would use language that was easier to understand, to get away from the legalese. We made attempts at, getting away from the gender sort of terminology. But what is that phrase that we use when we're referring to language to make it easier to read when they're looking at legislative drafting?
Yeah, you can call it plain language or plain English.
Okay, I thought it was another term, but yeah, so even that in itself, for those of us who either would read legislation or even the bills proposed, they were foreign whereas and therefore subject to subsection 1, subsection 2, as here after, before, appearing. By the time you finish reading that, you go like, what are they talking about? Couldn't you just say in paragraph 5, anybody caught with a disc is that? So that's part of the process as well. We make it so complicated in this nonsense the way it's drafted that it's only people who have little or no, anyway.
Dwayne, to respond to that, which is a very, very important question, that there are two things I can respond to it. One, I do have a course as well on plain English, because the courses actually I have are 9 of them. They are all 1-day to half-day courses. One of them is how to draft legal documents in plain language. And that is a very big thing elsewhere, in other countries, to make it easier. For example, to give you one example, we have in Cayman up to now provisions where one section is 17 lines long, like one block section. In Australia, in all jurisdictions, the biggest block section you can make is 5 lines. If it is more than 5 lines, you have to break it up. And so I have a course about that as well, just like I have a course on how to interpret statutes, to navigate statutes, to write cabinet papers. I have all those courses to be able to support each other. Right. What I think in Cayman, we need to work harder to be able to write in plain language. I remember way back, or not so way back, maybe about 2.5 years ago, I wrote a letter to the campus specifically on that point, when Abraham Topil, who was then chairperson of the Bar Association, at the opening of the Grand Court, he made a statement to say, look, we need to work on drafting laws in plain language. And I used that occasion to say a few more things and wrote a letter about that.
Right.
Yes, that also I can teach, and I've got already a ready-made course, a basic one as well as an advanced one. But at the moment, I just want to emphasize the other one.
Yeah, man.
The rest can come later, yeah.
Well, I appreciate that because I think knowledge is empowering. Knowledge is certainly powerful. But I think there are parliamentarians, and as you said, in the wider civil society, but the parliamentarians, if they want, whether they are part of the government or whether they're part of, the rest of them, they can help to understand that what they're trying to get drafted, that new law, that amendment, that thing is clear.
If you keep responding to what I'm saying, Dwayne, because you are saying so many important things, I won't stop talking. You are saying so many important things. That one you've mentioned is very, very important because I talked about people who need to make proposals for legislation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you're now talking about the parliamentarians.
Mm-hmm.
Parliamentarians need to be trained on how to scrutinize a bill.
Mm-hmm.
How do you scrutinize a bill if you don't understand the rules of statutory interpretation?
Yes. Yeah.
How do you, and I know that's what you're talking about, you know some of this stuff. How do you, if you don't understand how judicial review works
mm-hmm.
and how it can work even if it is not provided for specifically in a bill,
mm-hmm.
how can you understand a bill? If you don't know how to navigate the statutes, like how they are connected and this and that, how can you scrutinize a bill? That's why I've got somebody I know who is a fellow instructor with me on this same program I was talking about. His name is Daniel Greenberg. He's one of the leading authorities in the UK. He retired from the Parliamentary Council's office, and now what he does is he goes to these small parliaments and teaches them how to scrutinize bills, which is something also I can do as well.
Yeah,
so you are right. MLAs in particular, particularly the new ones, they really need to know that because that way they can be able to understand it. Let me close by saying this, Dwayne.
Mm-hmm.
The courses I have designed, there are 9 of them. They have deliberately divided them up into half-day to one-day courses. And they can be taught, if somebody wanted to do them fully, they can be taught over 2 weeks. If they gave me a chance to take the MLAs to the BRAC for 2 weeks, when they come back from the BRAC, they will be sort of like half a lawyer. They will never look at a bill differently again, and they will be surprised why they spend so much time without doing this much earlier.
Indeed, man. Again, thank you for that, and maybe we can continue this. And this is where those of us who know and are willing to share could be really beneficial, especially for those of us who are receptive to receiving, such knowledge. Well, thank you very much for that, and maybe we'll talk to you again very, very soon.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. Yes, thanks for the opportunity.
Okay. Well, let's pause, take a break. We can't keep Miss Susan happy every day, but today might be just one of those days. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Look at you, listening to the radio, tuning in, getting stuff done. Total doer. Maybe you're driving, maybe you're getting your oil changed, or grabbing some chicken. Maybe you're doing something that's nobody's business but yours. Hey, that's cool. We're all doing something. Now you can join a whole new community of doers doing more on findyellow.com. With custom search, local experts, and trusted reviews, whatever you're doing, get it done on findyellow.com.
You see how hard it's raining?
Yeah, and I don't have time to fight traffic and get my lunch from Subway. I have so much work to do.
Why don't you order Subway by using the Let's Eat or Bento app? Save time, stay dry, and get your sandwich fast.
I never thought of that. Great idea. I'm going to order now.
Order me a veggie pizza while you're at it.
And a cookie platter for the office.
Too busy at work or home? Is the rainy weather stopping you from dining out? Order your favorite Subway sandwich, wrap, or pizza through the Let's Eat or Bento app with fast and reliable delivery. Subway, eat fresh.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines. A truly exciting event is just around the corner. 4 hours of Rotary Central Gumball Car Rally excitement. Saturday, August 21st, noon until 4 p.m. Prizes around Gumball Rally car preparation, rally spirit, rally event notes, rally accuracy. Answer the questions and find the Rotary Central Gumball Rally finish line. The Rotary Central Gumball Car Rally, a fun event, not a race event. Register with only $100 per entry, up to 4 persons per rally car. The first ever Rotary Central Gumball Car Rally event. Register now at Rotary Central Facebook page or call 936-1344. Every Gumball Rally dollar will serve Rotary Central mental health projects. Rotary Central. Serve to change lives.
Do you know why vaping is considered toxic? Vaping devices work by turning liquids to vapor for users to inhale. Vaping liquids contain a variety of substances. Vaping can cause acute lung injury. People actually don't know what they're inhaling. There is really no regulatory oversight over who is making these liquids, where and how they're making these liquids, and what kind of components are present in these liquids. Ask questions. To learn more about vaping, contact the NDC at 949-9000 or check out our website at www.ndc.ky. This message was brought to you by the National Drug Council and Radio Cayman.
The following is a special announcement from the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association. The 6-Out Backpack Distribution continues this week in Cayman Brac. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman members, you can pick up your backpacks on Thursday and Friday, July 29th and 30th, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Saturday the 31st from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Seaman Center on the Bluff. Members are asked to please bring identification to speed up the collection process. If you are collecting bags on behalf of another member, please bring a written signed note from that member with a copy of their ID as well. Retired members, please make sure your membership is up to date for your collection of your bags. That's this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at the Seaman Center on the Bluff. 6-Up Backpack Distribution. We look forward to serving you, our members.
For the first time in over 45 years, the University College of the Cayman Islands is having an alumni homecoming gala dinner on October 28th. The event highlights the kickoff of the UCCI Alumni Network, a community of professionals helping the university and one another. If you're a UCCI graduate, join the network today and let your fellow classmates know about it. Visit ucci.edu.ky/alumni and come give us a hand with UCCI's first ever homecoming.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. And thanks for keeping the company, for sharing your thoughts, and invite you to be a part of a discussion. It is open line 949-8037. Or you can call the floor toll-free number at 1-800-534-8255 or WhatsApp 925-3261. I know normally in the summers we're either distracted with much ado about nothing. For others, we're so busy doing everything else that we don't necessarily get a chance to think. And then for those who summers bring, just warm sunshine and afternoon downpours, but they also invite a time to celebrate and to travel now. But for where we are in our own lives now, that travel may not necessarily be as easy. And maybe I can ask of you, what is it that you think will transpire going forward? And will we be able to once again, not just in this country or in this region, but as a globe, get to a safe space where we can socialize, we can attend celebrations of the wedding of our children and family members, or even our own, with the closest of friends, or we can gather together and celebrate the life of someone who has gone on, whether it's milestones of graduation, or promotions, or birthdays, or anniversaries. And is it now that increasingly through the constant publicity of the media that may instill not just information but a great sense of fear and trepidation? Are we responding in a responsible, civilized manner? Have we grown increasingly, frustrated with the confusing, conflicting information and the growing divide amongst family and friends relative to what is or what isn't, as we get involved with the conjecture and speculation? And is it because as a individual, we are not necessarily making an effort to be sufficiently informed? Is it that when we do access what seemingly should be a reputable source, we question whether it is objective and impartial? Or when we look at other things, we're told, well, that's on the fringe, you don't subscribe to that. Well, can't be too easy sometimes. But then are we willing to look at each other in a loving, willing, spirited manner to ensure that we're doing, as a caller before referenced, helping as opposed to hindering. Try to do no harm, as some are called to do. And yet, maybe because of, the threats that they may feel behind the scenes and sometimes overtly, well, they don't have much of a chance because, well, some of us lack the Constitution. 949-8037, 1-800-534-8255, or WhatsApp 925-3261. That flow toll-free line is 1-800-534-8255, or you can call just 949-8037. A couple of individuals, over the last few days, not just the early part of today, not just yesterday, but into part of Sunday. Sunday for many, we are becoming increasingly reminded that 7 days in a week isn't sufficient to do all that we are called to do and to get stuff done for ourselves. Whereas it may have been a tradition for a Sunday afternoon drive or evening rest, a time to visit and fellowship, or it may be, whether you're on the beach or on the boat, or whether just in your backyard, that you're gardening and you're sort of regrouping. We don't have time for that anymore because we are so busy. I'll share with you a thought on that, but let's take this caller. Good afternoon, welcome, thanks for calling.
Hi, Sterling.
Hi, how are you today?
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
My godson wants to hear on the radio.
Okay, well, please bring him on, yes.
You got one there, blood, and I got one.
Huh. All right. Now, how old is your grandson?
I'm not in the speaker.
Okay.
Got an earphone on.
Okay. Are you all set up?
Yeah. Sterling, I was just being a bit curious. I understand and see that there's a movie making going on here on the island.
Hold on, I'm not hearing you properly. You understand that there is something?
A movie being made on the island.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. And, yes, and I was just, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Can you hear me?
Yes, not the best, but yes.
Okay. Okay. Something is wrong. Okay, I got you now, I believe. You got me now?
I got you now, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I understand and see that it's a movie being made here on the island. Am I correct? Some people here making a movie?
I gather that there have been a number of movies, whether they're the full length or whether part of it that have been filmed in Cayman over the last yearish or so.
Okay. Well, I just saw a big action going on down there by Lobster Pot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's 2 police cars down there, I guess, helping direct traffic and assisting them in every way they can.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not calling her to be biased or anything in that category, but I don't know what is in the movie for the people of this island and the government, and I don't know how the police is being I would say ordered to be part of their moving up and down. You know what I mean? I don't want to come up too bluntly, so I just gonna try to be.
No, but just go ahead, just say your thing, and then people can interpret it for what it is. I mean, you know what I mean?
Well, we got the police officers out there helping these guys moving up and down. I mean, we got so many other things going on here on the island, and we don't have enough officers to do certain things on our roads and our neighborhoods and all that kind of stuff. I mean, this time of day, how can you find 2 police cars to be assisting these people that come here to make a movie? We don't know what's in it for us, and we don't know what advertisement we're going to get in the movie when it's gone back to America to be made and so forth.
Or wherever it is going, right?
Yeah. Or wherever it's going.
Right.
You know.
Well, for what it's worth, though, I'll share with you that you are not the first person. A couple of individuals have seen something similar on seemingly their perspective. Looks like a film is being shot of some sort, and there are a number of uniformed police officers and cars assembled. The questions were asked. Are they doing crowd control and security? What role are they playing? Are they being paid for it? It should not private security. And like you, they've questioned, well, with the demands and strains already, on the police service. We see the millions being asked for to pay for, what already is a stretched service. They're humans too, right? They have their own lives, but they also have, physical bodies that are probably getting weary and tired and mentally, fatigued as well. We're asking them to even do more. The least we can do is compensate them for their time. Interesting, no?
Yeah, I would really like to know what's in it for us. Especially our police department is out there working with these guys, and there's so much nasty parking here and there, a lot of crazy driving, and that's just some of the problem we're having here in the island.
Right.
You understand? So,
but thank you for that.
I hope that it's something big in it for the Cayman Islands.
Well, hopefully what's in it for us, or what's the cost, at least we could know, right?
Exactly.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you. God bless.
Bye-bye.
All right. Let's pause and take the break. When we come back, more Talk Today.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The University College of the Cayman Islands and Cisco are set to partner up to host a 2-day virtual STEM summit next month. 35 females from the Cayman Islands, ages 12 to 18, will be chosen and hear from inspirational guest speakers, participate in hands-on practice with coding, and in workshops to help them build their professional skill set. The summit aims to inspire young females to pursue careers in STEM and aid in equipping the local younger generation with digital skills to drive advancement in their careers. Turning to international news now, an explosion at an industrial park for chemical companies in Germany killed at least 2 people on Tuesday, with 31 others injured and several still missing hours later. Fire officials who tested the air said there did not appear to be a danger to nearby residents after authorities initially urged people to shelter inside. The explosion at the waste management facility sent a large black cloud into the air. It took firefighters almost 4 hours to extinguish the fire that took hold after the explosion. In a major step against climate change, U.S. President Joe Biden is proposing a return to aggressive Obama-era vehicle mileage standards over 5 years. He's then aiming for even tougher anti-pollution rules after that to forcefully reduce greenhouse gas emissions and nudge 40% of U.S. drivers into electric vehicles by decade's end. The proposed rules from the Environmental Protection Agency and Department of Transportation are expected to be released as early as next week, that according to 4 industry and government officials who have been briefed on the plan. And a married couple who stormed the U.S. Capitol on January 6 and later downplayed the level of violence pleaded guilty on Tuesday in federal court, where a judge pledged to use the case to send a message that their behavior was reprehensible. The plea hearing for the 2 Donald Trump supporters, Lori and Thomas Vinson of Kentucky, took place while the Select Committee hearing about the attack was underway in the House of Representatives. The Vinsons pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor charge of demonstrating in the Capitol. Those are your latest headlines here on Radio Cayman. I'm Shanda Gallego.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us. It is open line 949-8037 or 1-800-534-8255. Or you can WhatsApp 925-3261 as we invite you to share your thoughts with us. To the last caller's point, some may have heard, and even my attempt to share what others have relayed, and not necessarily appreciate that the concern isn't that we're doing, the concern is that the timing can be allocate already scarce resources, not just the people, and in this form, the presence of policing to help, but the money that would cost to do that, and then what is the benefit of doing it, what is also the cost of doing it, and should that be something that's provided elsewhere. Maybe it stems from sometimes to a lack of timely information being shared generally so people can be better informed. All sorts of things come into play, but it just shows that there's a changing face in Cayman and things are moving at a lightning pace. Take, for instance, our development and the growing population as more and more seek out to come here, maybe return or to come for the first time. We can without question, appreciate the potential impact on the rising cost of properties. Those who have properties to sell might see it as a good way to make more money. Others who want to buy may say, well, it's finding it difficult in the past, but if it's becoming more expensive, they may be priced out of the market altogether. That in itself could lead to a very, innovative response relative to how we go about housing and the densities and the like. But it needs to be a proper coordinated approach to assist people. As an example, speaking to an individual the other day, and it was somewhat hypothetical, something that he was contemplating. He says, with family members, they have a small, and he emphasized a very small parcel of land. And the initial discussions with the people that would know, whether that's planning authorities or whether that's, architects and designers and the like, the property only allowed a certain amount of houses or other dwellings and the like because of how it's zoned. And he said, well, that sounded okay in the past. That may have been something, but is it time to revisit that? So he says, as an example, if on the property he could build, maybe one duplex or 4 units or maybe just one house. He said, well, why is there a category? Because if you built, 4 apartments, well, isn't that 4 dwellings for 4 individuals or 4 separate entities versus a duplex, which is only for 2 or a 1 house? Now, if it was that in all of that, maybe the house can only be more than X bedrooms or the duplex or the apartments. Well, do we need to revisit with the intent of what we're trying to achieve? And if we are allowing certain concessions, I think it was the word he used, not just the financial concessions, but developers to be given greater leeway in having higher densities, then if that is going to be a workable solution, well, why not allow it across the thing? Now, he said wasn't trying in any sense to make matters worse or to call out anyone or anything, but to realize that there's a limited space. He said what may be a justifiable reason to object to something. As an example, he said, the proposed 10-story building on Corwin Avenue. Well, what is it? Is it, as some have shared, well, it's just another guise to be able to get in a higher density sort of apartment building as opposed to, calling it a hotel, or doing things in one vein because it's a way to circumvent, policies and laws without breaking them. But why not let it be what it is and try to move us forward? So what are your thoughts on that? In 949-8037 or toll free with the compliments of Flow at 1-800-534-8255, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261. As I was sharing that, a WhatsApp message came in and I just quickly looked at it, and the sentiment is that we all seem to be looking at the politics of the day and the seemingly increase in pay for the politicians. Now, this WhatsApp message shared 2 things that jumped out immediately. One is, are we not saying that they are deserving and are, positioned to receive that pay in the sense that what we expect of them? And then secondly, when we look at what they're receiving in terms of pay and all the perks, I think it was the what I read of the office, are we objecting because we don't think, again, that either the individual or that the scope of the office is worthy of that? This message highly commended the parliamentarians, looked very expectantly and positively at what the message says, should be a good term of office for the government. But acts as a populace that we look at the individuals and not, no, they use a different word that I thought, so let me replace that with, with license. Let us not begrudge the work of them, their position and their pay, as this person writes and says, but let's hold them accountable by being engaged and joining alongside them. Now, I don't necessarily want to be accused of being, a great defender of any of the elected people. They're big boys and girls, if they would allow me to put it as casual as that, who are eloquent, who are intelligent, who can speak for themselves. But when we critique them, I don't want it to be seen in that same vein as being anti. But if we are looking at our elected government, and if we can help to make it better, that will make it better for all of us. If we are sufficiently close enough to them on an individual basis to help to guide them, maybe we can offer up some level of assistance without always being, perceived as expecting something in return. Now, as a caller earlier shared, maybe the challenge is that as a people, voters in particular, we're not sufficiently organized, mobilized, motivated to ensure that we are part of the process. But we complain about the organizations and the associations, the group that we refer to as a special interest, who are able to access the politicians easier, who are able to dictate and demand what is addressed. And if that's the case everywhere, well, is it a semblance of a democracy? And if it is a democracy, is it then incumbent on us as individuals to ensure that we are participants, actively engaged participants in the process, as opposed to what seems to be the great accusation of many of us, that we go asking our politicians for $25 or whatever the sum is these days for help with certain things. Not that they're, as elected members, aren't considerate of that, aren't willing to assist, but maybe our expectations and asks of them should be more. If it is that, the $25 helps you through the day or the week, but is it that you need better, employment opportunities, better training? Is it that you need to have a sense that, the country you're in is positioned so that you can benefit? Maybe it's a rethink of how we govern and how, as a society, we collectively work together. Those changes won't happen overnight, but if they're being orchestrated and engineered, and we're going to be excluded and further marginalized, well, at the end of the day, when you wake up, what is it? Dog eat your supper if you're not part of it. So again, as we can call, cuss, and complain, well, let's see if we can complement, not just with the I, in terms of saying something good, but with the E, and offering us something helpful that will go along with making what is happening much better. All right, let's pause and take the final break of today's show as we invite you to share your thoughts with us. 949-8037. Toll free with the compliments of Flo at 1-800-534-8255 or WhatsApp 925-3261. And as we come back, think about what is incumbent on all of us to keep things in the fore, to be engaged and informed, and sometimes some of us can say the most hurtful thing in the nicest way. That what they say, the art of diplomacy is telling someone to go to hell and they actually ask you for directions. Well, some of us can't even give a meaningful compliment in a nice way. Yet some of us can give the worst insult and it's just accepted. Well, let's see if we can find a way to work better together in a productive way. As long as we're honest and truthful, well, maybe at some point then we'll be appreciated. When we come back, more talk today.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
3T Cayman MRI is the patient-friendly MRI experience in the Cayman Islands. With the most advanced scanner on island, utilizing cutting-edge technology, and a team of highly trained radiologists and technologists with the experience that rivals any clinic in the world. Our suite is designed for patient comfort, with the largest patient opening of any scanner, and additional features to minimize anxiety during your scan. Come to 3T Cayman MRI for your patient-friendly experience. Learn more at 3tcayman.com.
The 7 a.m. news Monday through Friday is proudly sponsored by CG Britke Insurance, Health, Pensions, Life, where people come first.
The Department of Education Services and the Public Health Department would like to inform parents that health screening for new students will take place during the summer until August 23rd across Grand Cayman schools. The Public Health Department will be visiting your district schools and will be contacting you regarding school health screening appointment. Health screenings will also continue during September and October for those children who were not screened during the summer.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back. And thank you very much for joining in today's discussion. 1-800-534-8255 or WhatsApp 925-3261 or call toll free 1-800-534-TALK. That's 1-800-534-8255. There's a comment here from WhatsApp and I'd like to share it in relation to the recent increase in salary and all other stuff that the politicians have voted. This one reads, says, no one is saying they don't deserve a pay rise, but now is not the time. They are already the highest paid politicians in the world. So let's take that two part. Thank you so much for sharing that view. Is it, as this comment shares, that maybe they're deserving, but right now with things being as hard, well, maybe this is not the time. Some have said, well, if it was put in place by the last administration, we heard if we paid the last comments were recently by the Premier sharing an explanation of it, should they claw it back? Now we know that in the early briefings last year, the then Premier, Mr. McLaughlin, when asked, well, will they take a pay cut? He said, no, they're doing their job and doing it well, and so they deserve the pay. They won't take a pay cut. That can be interpreted in all sorts of ways. I think many would appreciate then as now the parliamentarians work excessive hours. Nobody questioning whether how long they work or how productive and so on. The other section, the other part of this comment is that they're already the highest paid. Well, is that true? Is that really true? Probably they get paid handsomely. Is it a high pay relative to some of the other positions in the country in the private sector? Probably not. Is it a lot more than many of us make? Probably so. But then the lawyer who comes from some two-bit place, in England or somewhere about, pops up and making $100,000 a month or $10 million for the year or whatever the sum is. Do we question that? The lawyer who comes from some part of the Caribbean or part of Cayman and is maybe making $50,000 a month or $25,000, whatever the sum is, because that lawyer is a friend of a friend or went to school with us. Do we feel happy for that lawyer or that accountant or that doctor or that electrician, if it's the person that we know? Do we feel that that individual that we know that is making a good life, working hard and making good money, do we feel happy for them? Or do we begrudge that? The person that we don't know and they seem to be making good money, they may or may not be doing it so legal or otherwise, but we seem to be okay with it, or at least don't say anything begrudgeful or offensive against that, but we seem to have an issue with our own. Now, to the earlier caller who sort of, agreed with those sentiments, maybe that's where we need to revisit our thought process and be more willing to celebrate the successes of our own, to help our own excel. Now, hopefully when our own excel, that they also remember where they come from and reach out to assist. There are a number of foreign nationals who are here, who quietly, willingly, and lovingly do great things to contribute to our society. Over and above whatever it is their job, they do it without any sort of fanfare, from volunteering into the different organizations, from the service clubs to the NGOs to the other things, to just being good citizens, some of whom, eventually would like to make this their home and they go through the application process and get permanent residency, look forward to citizenship and all those things. These are great people who would be great in any setting because they're just great people. Now, that's the sort of nation building that I think we look forward to as we grow our population in an organic way. Then, like everything, there are many of us, Caymanian or not, whether that is through a generational connection or whether it's through just time and application or some grant or otherwise, who are only about ourselves. Let's make as much as we can because that's how we measure our success and our progress and our wealth. And at some point, we may give back. We may give back begrudgingly. We may give back at an expectation of some other reward or recognition. Well, from that, we need to look more closely at what is it that we're doing and how do we ensure that the egregious offensive actions, behavior, sentiments and the like aren't celebrated and rewarded, aren't necessarily immediately, chastised in a manner that, leads to great offense, but it is dealt with appropriately so that the offender as well as the offended understands that that's not the expectation. Now that means that as a people, we need to appreciate what is that ethos that we would like our society to have. And perhaps that is one of the growing challenges that we're facing today. We don't know who we are. We don't know what we want. We all know that seemingly we want more. Now, what is that more? More time on our hands to spend with family, to travel, to read, to relax, to write, to think, or more money in the bank so we can buy more? What was it that, I think but for his expletive-laden, commentary, was probably a great philosopher and comedian, and his constant deliberations, George Carlin reminded us that more isn't always more. Let's go to the phones. Good afternoon, welcome, thanks for calling.
Mr. Sterling Dwayne.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing fine.
Can you imagine what it would be like if I had some dark chocolate and sea salt now?
Yeah, well, you see, you wouldn't invite me to come on so I can bring some for you?
Listen, the invitation is standing, and you don't have to bring anything other than your intellect, your great companionship, and we can talk.
No, but the companionship, we can talk about that. The intellect, maybe.
Well, in my mind, it's there without question.
Leave that for another day.
All right, man. Cool.
How are you doing?
Listen, I am very thankful, and in all of my endeavors, missteps, misinterpretation, and misapplication, and sometimes misdirection, I try to be grateful.
Okay, well, I was listening on and off because I was doing something else.
Yeah, you're a busy man, huh?
Thanks. No, but I heard one of you callers earlier talking about government wasting money and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing was you were talking about a little earlier was about our MPs, not MLAs, MPs now. The salaries being too high and this and that. I mean, that's all debatable and
right. As I was sharing,
yeah. Probably a story for another time, but in as far as just quote unquote government wasting money, again, educating non-Caymanians or paying for the education of non-Caymanians.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that. Now, I spoke about it a few weeks ago,
mm-hmm.
and I know that the talk show is normally the talk show would ask the questions, but I'm going to ask you and maybe the whole of Cayman. Do we know any other jurisdiction that whereby government pays for the education of their non-citizens?
I'm not aware of it, but I mean,
I know you are knowledgeable, so was asking you the question as well as where the Cayman population.
Well, let me put it this way. I have through our students primarily.
You have what?
Through our students. Okay,
yeah.
So they're overseas studying at different places, right? And some of them, and this is not just this year or last year, some of them have shared that because of their, my words, right, immigration status, they're on a student visa, for want of a better way to phrase it.
Yeah.
They're limited to the type of employment they can get and the amount of money they can earn.
Correct.
I understand that some have inquired about remaining in that jurisdiction and working after, and there's a process they have to follow and the like. A few have found that even be able to volunteer and take internships as part of their professional course. That proved to be a bit of a challenge. Not impossible, but a challenge, right? Volunteering. Not just because of the amount of people that are applying for the position, but just because of their student situation, right? But we have the situation in Cayman where not only governments pay for non-citizens for the training and education, we have private sector doing the same at the expense of, well, not this one who is a Caymanian, but this one who isn't, right? But look at our schools. How many other things, for example, being selected to participate in some program that the school, because the teacher has selected the student, presumably is the reason and justification given by the organization. So we don't know who's coming. The school sends it across, right?
Right.
Why is it then that there shouldn't be a priority? Now, if we say the priority should go to the Caymanian, that seems to be a bad thing. And when it is that priority is given, to the Caymanian, well, anyway, talk to me.
No. I am in total agreement with what you're saying, and again, I have no objection. Like in times of great need, we have a hurricane or whatever hit a country, especially in our region. We go in and help them. I mean, that's what quote unquote brothers and sisters are for. We go in, we assist because it will happen to us, and we will hope that someone would come and help us. But to just offer financial aid to non-Caymanians, I think is totally a step in the wrong direction.
Right.
We shouldn't be doing it.
But then, let me see. Go ahead. But in doing that,
are there any other jurisdictions in the world that do it? And maybe you can or cannot answer that question. It's open to the public.
It is. I don't know. I mean, if we were to, for instance, let's use the student as well as the new hire. Come to the jurisdiction
as a what?
As a new employee in the organization, right? The new student as well as the new employee in the organization. So let's say within a year, let's start with the student first. If that student is invited within the first academic year in the school to go and participate in the National Leadership Program for young and prospective parliamentarians. I don't think there's a program called that, but let's say there is, right? So if people misunderstand what I'm saying, these are who we're going to train now to be our new politicians and policymakers and leaders, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Now, should that program be specifically geared towards Caymanians or should be open to everybody? Huh?
To Caymanians.
Okay.
If you become a Caymanian, then yes, you are. But you should be more than entitled to it.
Well,
if you go overseas to represent your country as a national athlete,
right,
in whatever sport, you have to be a national of that country.
But did we sort of amend those laws at some point because the victory is more important than the participation and representation?
If we did, then again, I personally don't agree with it.
Right. Well, many people probably don't, but then again, it comes back to us seeing that the outcome, the paycheck is more important. No matter how you get it, boy. If you cut corners and, reduce the safety standards or somehow, screw up let me use that phrase, screw up the environment, who cares, right? I just made $1 million extra, boy.
Mm-hmm. No, I remember from the first time we went to the Carifta Games, you had to show your passport and make sure that you were a Caymanian.
Okay.
It wasn't about you just being a resident. You had to be a Caymanian.
Right.
And again, this is not bashing non-Caymanian.
Right. But how do we address that? Because, I appreciate you sharing it, and I think hopefully people here would understand. And even though they don't agree with you, they'll probably come up with some justification as to why. Right? But let's take students. Let's say the program is one where you're going to choose the student who either is, the more academically enabled in the math, the science, the English, or whatever the subject is, right? Or the student who's artistic or athletic or whatever it is. But you send across John, who the only connection John has is he's the friend of the teacher, who's the friend of the person or whatever. He doesn't have the skill set, but he's the favorite one, and he happens to be, not a Caymanian, but the Caymanian child who has the skill set isn't as favored, and yet John is allowed to go and nobody says anything in public to address it, just grumble and complain.
Right. Hence is why I am offering my...
I appreciate that, my friend.
My 2 cents worth.
All right. Well, you'd allow me to call you another time to see if that invitation can be once again extended.
Yeah.
All right.
And I hope the chocolate doesn't melt between now and then.
To avoid that, you go ahead and enjoy it. I have a purveyor that has, positively and, wonderfully. Anyway, my friend, we can talk again, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Blessings to you, man. Blessings to you. All the best to that caller and to each and every one of you. And thank you for sharing. And at any point in any time, if things are said that are improper, offensive, ill-informed, misguided, or insensitive, share. We should have the conviction to be able to take responsibility for actions. We should have the wherewithal to recognize that sometimes what is said isn't always what is we hear, or when we hear it and interpret it. In fact, if a little thought, we could have appreciated that would have been the consequence. But sometimes it isn't just that we are saying it improperly. It's being heard deliberately and construed as such. But with the sense of dialogue and discourse, healthy sense of respect and appreciation, a great dose of humility and integrity, we can actually move forward. Now, I like to commend our elected government. I like to commend our electorate for voting and participating heavily in our democracy. If we don't like what's going on, draw alongside to make it better. It's easy to tear down. It takes a little effort to build up. You ever renovated your house? What was easier, knocking on the wall or trying to put it up so it's plumb and level and finished properly? Now, if you don't tear it down properly, you might bring the roof down with the wall because of the supporting structure. Sometimes it's easier to tear down. You just don't understand the consequence of what you're doing. Doesn't mean that I'm constantly, enamored with all that goes on, but it means that we want to be better, and I believe we can be if we work together. I know this may offend some people, but literally some of us need a slap upside the head, a wake-up call to recognize what's transpiring. Not advocating violence, I mean a wake-up call. We need a dose of reality, and easier said than done, but sometimes it is us that are looking back at ourselves from the reflection in the mirror that need to be adjusted, that need to be improved. So we work on ourselves. If each one does his or her best, gives our all, irrespective of what we get from one or the other, then it will be better because all will have given them their all. Come back tomorrow. Share with me. I don't have any hidden agendas or ulterior motives. It's very plain and clear. I want a very best society as possible. I want to be better today than I was yesterday. Not better than you, but better than me that I am now. Until tomorrow, my friends, be blessed.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village. Convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays.
Radio Cayman.